Thanks so much for tuning in to Sister Soul Talk About It segment on the main radio. You are tuned into information, light, and opening the portals of the mind to truth and information, linking the mind, body, and spirit to a concise clearance of what is prevalent in your mind. So let's get started with the song, and then we're going to get right into some information today, guys. Trey Ali. Status. You can find him on YouTube.
I said paper on paper on paper. Ain't no genocide, we was killed on paper. Buried us alive in the products of the paper. They know who we are, so they hate us cause they ain't us. I said paper on paper on paper. Ain't no genocide, we was killed on paper. Buried us alive in the products of the paper. They know who we are, so they hate us cause they ain't us. I said gotta never die, never left us. Even though they took your home, we still behind you like a catcher. Life is like a doctor, everybody wants their checkup. Money, he been preaching, charge for a confession. See, ain't nobody focused on the bullshit that they told us. I was trying to pin you sick when ain't nobody came before us. We the best part of waking up before the folks. That's why they want your backs against the wall like a poster. Indoctrination being sold as education. Most of history they taught you came from some imagination. Roots was never true, fuck the whole compilation. Fuck Walter Pleckel, fuck Alex Hadley. America is Egypt, Israel, Queen Khalifa. Babylon used to devil body while I check my fever. Niggas think I'm lying cause they sleeping. But bitch, I ain't no fool shopping my toes every season. I said paper on paper on paper. Ain't no genocide, we was killed on paper. Buried us alive in the products of the paper. They know who we are, so they hate us cause they ain't us. I said paper on paper on paper. Ain't no genocide, we was killed on paper. Buried us alive in the products of the paper. They know who we are, so they hate us cause they ain't us. Guess I gotta start bad rap and tell these niggas how it happened. Control is the goal, now you space like William Shatner. Technology's economy has overthrown your balance. Now your headaches come from ways, microcells up in your atmosphere. Is how they take you, they expect you for being active and questioning all the requisites made to prevent disasters. Clearing out the church stream of talking to the pastor. Got the online tied and this was valid for the masses. They never loved our classics, but right off our originals. We classic from rhymes the way they did the Seminoles. I'm so black, for if the word had never died, they probably never alert you. You need to venture out and stop sticking the circle. Strength in numbers react different. The curfews, the movement, not perfume, the streets ain't gold. Our summer so cold, we left the fall on froze. I said paper on paper on paper. Ain't no genocide. I said paper on paper. Ain't no genocide, we was killed on paper. Buried us alive in the products of the paper. They know who we are, so they hate us cause they ain't us. I said paper on paper on paper. Ain't no genocide, we was killed on paper. Buried us alive in the products of the paper. They know what made us ain't us. Paper on paper. Ain't no genocide, we on paper. Alive in the products of the paper. They know who we are, so they hate us cause they ain't us.
All right, guys. That is Trey Ali. Status. Amaru. We'll play one more by Trey Ali. Turtle Island. And we're going to get into information on civil law and its natural state.
No peace! No peace! No peace! No peace!
So we gon' die every day. Swear we gon' die every day. They said Jesus gone, since we wait. I know we die if he black, but we ain't. Aboriginal, don't know where we came. We been here, lived here, open borders, got the ported off of rice. Kidnapped, bitch slapped, blacked out, covered up, washed white, plugged up, slugged up, beat bread, left for dead, fuck your life. It's all a plan, kill your man, take your land, slave your drink. Y'all got look so mad if all this shit is true? Why y'all look so mad if all this shit happened to you? White man, you was a slave, nothing but he himself only been free since 1840. I'm recording, I'm an ancient Egyptian from Atlantis, head straight from Canada, that's Israel. Nothing fake about me, no capping, rapping, I just fed the ink and I'm digital. No, I'm original. Kentucky Fried, extra crispy, where a lot of gold, cause my family history. I'm a guy to know, I bring death every day.
That gold,
Jesus gonna save
us.
us.
That energy, that current.
I know we die if we can't. They tell us we black, but we ain't. Native, yeah, we gon' die every day. Cause we don't know where we came. So we gon' die every day. They say Jesus gon' save us. Well, I know we die if we wait. I know we die if we can't. They tell us we black, but we ain't. Aboriginal, native, yeah, we gon' die every day. Cause we don't know where we came. Power, only respect power. Respect power. What's been said can't be said no louder. Stand for something, or you die a coward. They bombed our churches, set our kids on fire. Police keep erasing cause they backed up by the nation. Nation ain't complaining cause the Indians still hanging. Comanche, Sioux, Apache, ain't no history in blackness. No reason for that chatting if you bitch up witness action. AR on my body, tell the bro to grab the shot. It know nothing new addition, finna hit him with the bobby. I can't shoot the shit, but 37 miss. 54 races, 104 is click. Anytime in prison, they don't want the shit. They don't. Snitches get the hate you. Running like a beat. Quick to call it loud. Quick to every day. They say Jesus will save us. Well, I know we die if we wait. I know we die if we can't. They tell us we black, but we ain't. Aboriginal, so we gon' die every day. They say Jesus gon' save us. Well, I know we die if we wait. I know we die if we can't. They tell us we black, but we ain't. Aboriginal, native, yeah, we gon' die every day. Cause we don't know where we came.
Trey Ali. Turtle Island. You can find him on YouTube, guys, and also follow him on Instagram. I know you guys have been enjoying that Aboriginal music that I have been bringing to you, and I am today going to bring some information on some laws, some natural laws, and we are going to be reading out of an older book, guys. So some of these words are quite strange. I'll say. And when it comes to that, let's see here. Let's get this in order here. I think I am going to go. I am also on YouTube. You can also join and make sure that you can finish the rest of this live if it does not end there. I have done a couple of bits of so I'm going to make sure that we get through as much information that is pertinent as possible. Shout out to my chat. We have Jan Rainier, Simaj B25, Pony Locks in the building. Shout out to you, Sil, in the building. Shout out to you, Chief. Thanks so much for joining us. It's from the Internet Archive, Public Law. We're going to start on page 8, actually. As I said, some of the words are a bit off, but when it comes to that, I'll be able to, hopefully you guys can disseminate everything that I'm saying and everything is clear. Maybe a little stumble with me trying to disseminate a word or two, but bear with me. We'll start on page 8. As I said, it says, besides the laws relating to private, which the author has designed after this matter in the first of this work, he has added a second time of the public law in which we have the collectivity of the Roman, all the isles of seeking and equity, which are one govern the atoms of mankind in their city, and they have relation to the civil society of which they are members. Here be it down the duties of, okay, I'm going to skip that because I don't want to prolong time. If I can't make it out immediately, it takes a lot with the translations. We'll just try to make way. Towards the subjects and of all officers employed under the prince. For the admiration of suffice the title of the coal of the soil policy of the coal policy, the management of the public render, the government collected the general maxims that are to be offered for so forth. Since I first read this book, I have always been of opinion that an English translation of it would be greater. Yes, I know that. Service here in England, and rather because of late years and duty of the civil law here in England, and due to the civil law here in England, has been too much neglected and has met with so great discouragement that we are in a manner become strangers to it. And under a grounded abbreviation of its being an approachment on the law of the land, we are like to be lost. We are likely to lose all the seal advantage, all the real advantage. R and S is kind of interchange, guys, excuse me. All the real advantages which may be reaped from its subserviency to our own laws, in which all countries where the estates cultivated, they have peculiar laws and customs of their own, in which rarely are seen as we possibly see of ours. Okay. Ooh, this gets real complicated in the mind trying to discern this and figure out the letter side. So make sure you're bearing with me. I'm doing the best I can here. Maybe having some problems on YouTube, guys, and bear with me just a moment. I'm trying to catch up. Okay, and she says I am going in and out. Guys, if you can't hear me well, you may have to tune into the main radio. Let me drop the link. If you can't hear me, I do apologize. You guys know I all the time. So if it is going on and you're not patient, you can possibly watch it here on YouTube, but tune into themainradio.com and you'll be able to hear the live broadcast there, guys. I do apologize. I'm not able to, make any type of changes in what's going on with this internet here. Absurd. You already know. Wholeness fam, what's going on with you? Peace, love, energy, and all. You already know. Suzanne Thompson, thanks so much for joining us as well, sister. Good evening. All right, guys, we're having a slight internet issues. I'm hoping that you guys can hear me now. Please tune into themainradio.com. If you are not able to hear, I do apologize. All right. Of the Guild Law, under an abbreviation of its encroaching upon their own municipal laws, that of the contrary, they are the professors thereof all possible encouragement. They study it as a qualification for the better understanding of their own laws and make it subservient to them in subservient to them, and I can't make this word out. Sorry, guys. By applying the general rules of natural reason and equity, which have contained therein, to clear up any difficulties or absurdities, and to supply any any defects of omission that may occur in their own municipal laws. This is the only one that is made of the law in mocked counties at this day, not that they reclaim it by virtue of any power of authority of the Roman empress. Okay. Had to impose the laws upon other nations, which pretense now must be looked upon as very frivolous. Ever since ever since the decision of the Roman Empire, but they received it only as containing the most complete of not the only collection of sides of natural reason and equity, which may come and gain of their own municipal laws and serve as a rule for deciding all cases wherein their own laws and customs are relevant. Are silent, excuse me. All laws are silent. Yes, that says silent. All right, hold on one second. I think I lost my space here, guys. One moment. Okay, all laws are silent. And in this, they do not imitate the Romans themselves, who were not ashamed to take all the helps and assistance they could have from other nations to render their own body of laws the more perfect and completed. It was with this view that they sent persons into there to collect the best and most useful laws I pick up among the commonwealths. Okay, there's a word I skipped. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but they said they picked it up among the commonwealth. Okay, are you guys hearing me at all in the chat? It looks like I'm actually kind of not doing too great over here, guys. I may have to just, are you guys hearing me at all, or are we okay in the chat? Can you guys hear me? You too, guys. I've been having so many technical issues, so please excuse me if I am definitely trying to make sure that they are hearing us as well. I know you guys are hearing me. I see everything as well in the system here, but okay. Of that country, which were afterwards designed into 12 tables, and made the groundwork of the body of the civil law. It was likewise for the same parables that they borrowed of the Rhodians, their laws relating to maritime affairs, as being the best collection of the laws of that kind that were that extinct, and inserted them in the body shall own laws. And at this day, the Rhodian laws of the Clarion and other maritime laws of other nations are rescinded as the general. Are referred as the general. Lord, these letters. Y'all gotta excuse me. I'm doing my best here. Stay with me. All right. Let's see here. And besides this general advantage, that is to be repeated from the study of the crib law, we are not to look upon it altogether as a foreign commodity, which repelled to this land some of the particular laws thereof having been annated for this for disciplined controversies which arose here in England, and bearing date from this country. The greatest part of the land was so governed wholly by the cruel law. For the pace of about 350 years to it from the reign of the imperial Curbertus to that of Honorius, during which time some of the most eminent among the Roman lawyers as Panian, Paulus, and Eutherian, whose opinions and decisions are collected in the body of the civil law. They sat in the seat of the judgment here in England, and designated justice to the inhabitants. But after the decision of the Roman Empire, Saxon, Danic, and Norman customs took place in England, according as the said nations became martyrs of us, everyone being fond of introducing their own customs, which everyone should introduce their own customs in their own lands, right? But when it comes to that, sometimes that's not what's happening, right? Yeah, so can you hear? So sis said okay, guys, unfortunately, guys, you may have to go to main radio in order to hear it. I'm sorry, but unfortunately, you already know StreamYard's acting a little retarded. Sis said she went to main radio. It's much clearer. So if you guys, I don't know if it's getting better now. I'll try and turn the volume up a little bit. Let's see if that helps. I'm trying to avoid the F1 I'm going with this info, especially when it's something pertinent or important, the things we're talking about. Okay. So sis says it's better over there. If you can't hear, please go to the main radio so you are able to tune in and get a better clarity on what I'm saying, okay? Once I'm done with the program, it will be much better when I shut my system down from the show. So just try and stay with me, guys, or go into radio. All right. They were given their counsel and advice when required, which depended on the laws of the land and the law of the nations, were often conflicted in which, okay, the natural temper and disposition of the inhabitants, not in order to improve these to the best advantage. I cannot but think that it may be the service to know that laws, the Romans, the greatest and most flourishing commonwealth that ever was. This is what they say. You know, this is a lie because this book was written in England. So this is something that they wrote to give a certain judgment. Okay. It was thought to fit for promoting trade and manufacturing themselves and the government of their colonies in foreign parts, to pierce them, I don't know, that doesn't make sense, but no other word fits. I don't get it. To the subjugation and to make them useful and subservient to the seat of the empire from which they derived their origin and to which they owed gear protection or petition, all which are collected in the body of the cruel law and may be usefully applied by us on many occasions. But as to what concerns the outward policy of the state, that is the intercourse which it must have with other states and princes, I humbly conserve. Yes, that is conserved. I humbly conserve that the knowledge of the civil law must be of singular use in all traditions of that kind. For the civil law being in so great esteem and generation among all other nations, that they may, in the rule and standard of equity, in all cases which are not extremely provided for by their own particular laws and customs, which are essential and can be used to obtain suffice from them in an amicable way. Then those which are founded on the principles and maxims of the civil law, it is argued with them upon their own principles from maxims of this common law and the law of all nations, which first, the most effectual way to convince them by reason, it was the consideration of this, that our ancestors in their great wisdom thought proper to employ general in all oh my gosh, I don't know. It's got AEEE, AGBONs. Lord, I can't even make this word out. Generations in all and begins with foreign, I don't know. In all of something with foreign Gant. Grecics and the commerce persons who were well filled in the civil law and law of nations, and although it was necessary of some occasions, and more particularly of solemn congresses for treating of peace, for the greater luxury and splendor of the embassy, to employ persons of the sixth rank and quality, yet to ease them from great weight of affairs. They were always accompanied by some person of ancestral rank, who, being versed in the study of the Grill law and law of nations, might be aiding and appealing at the conferences which were to be held for fertile and adjusting repetitive interest of SARS, princes, and states. Lord, I need some help reading right now. My mouth getting dry, just trying to figure this out. My mind overloaded. I'm telling you. All right. I have made these few remarks only to show it what particulars the civil law is, and maybe the use here in England, and how we may reap the same advantages from in which other nations do, without any danger to our own municipal laws, and were too sensible of the great importance thereof, both in private and in the public affairs. Having thus, I think I went over. Let's see. Okay. Having thus foreseen the necessity and usefulness of the study of the guild law in this kingdom, and the next place give an account of the chief motive which induced me to undertake the translation of this work, therefore to render it more familiar to every English reader. I was surprised to find in a country where all arts and sciences do flourish and meet with the greatest encouragement, that one of the noblest of the human sciences, in which contribute the most to cultivate the mind and I, the reason of man, as Grill law does, for much disregarded and meet with so little encouragement. And I observed that the little regard which had the late years been shown in the kingdom to study thereof has been in a great measure owing in the want of due knowledge of it, and to the being altogether acquainted with the CA, oh Lord, I don't know what this means. It says CA, with the soul, and I don't know, with the excellencies thereof, which are only known to a few gentlemen who have devoted themselves that profession orders, who are perfect strangers to the law, being under a false a false apparition, I'm sorry, a false superstition that it may be a thing that torturing to our laws, and they to know that the body of the civil law, besides the law peculiar to the of shore selected, contains likewise the general principles. Lord, I swear I wish I could have got this in an English translation, guys. This is like really driving me crazy. And right now, I think we're going to stop this right here. I'm not having. I'm getting a lot of bots in the chat. Obviously, something's going on that that somebody is appreciate me sharing, even though I can't even read this clearly. It's just it's becoming a little disturbing, guys. Hold on one moment. Give me a minute here, guys. Just clearing my chat out here, and we will get back to some other information, because this reading right here is driving me a little nuts. I think I need a break or something. I mean, I could read a little more, but it is a little bit absurd trying to figure that out, and trying the technical issues, and all that stuff going on. But peace to the chat, guys. Yes, we are definitely going to get into some more information here. I think that what I'm going to do is switch gears here. I wanted to go over the laws. I'm having a hard time disseminating some of the information. It is pretty much driving me nuts, and I think I need a break. This is something when I'm on YouTube, guys, I can take my time, and when I'm trying to go over information with you guys, I really don't like to waste time, because we only have a strict hour. We're down now to 28 minutes. So I think I am going to get into something else that at least you guys can share some good information here. The laws of education. Let me get into that. Hold on one moment. I'm still going to go over laws, but I'm not going to be able to read that book. I went through it the other day. It was driving me crazy, but I thought I'd have a little more patience to get to it today. But, unfortunately, having a little bit of issues here. So let's just hold on one moment here. And we are still going to get into some laws. The laws relation to different beings. I think that will be where we're going to start at. Give me just a moment, guys. Let me play you guys something real quick while I'm getting this other page pulled up. I really appreciate your patience. And just give me one moment here. I guess you guys can appreciate my pre-recording where you don't have these issues, huh? I am sure. All right, guys. I'm going to play you guys Thread 3000. You guys have heard this before. Awesome song, History, while I'm pulling up the relationship of laws.
Stack that bitch up, right? Yeah, truth can't be told, it gotta be realized. The truth can't be told, it gotta be realized. Freedom ain't free, it ain't legalized. Truth can't be told, it gotta be realized. Freedom ain't free, it ain't realized. Freedom ain't free, it ain't realized. Freedom ain't legalized. Realize. Freedom ain't free, it ain't legalized. Realize. Freedom ain't free, it ain't legalized. Realize. Yeah. Slavery was a long time ago. How? Same motherfuckers still here right now. Colonized on our own land, they ahead of us. Changed our name so much, they scared of us. Children of the feeling, y'all don't compare to us. Pale-faced people, this ain't y'all area. Talking about America. Pale-faced people, this ain't y'all area. Even up the playing field, bitch, I'm darn. How you a victim, bitch, you a Karen. Cognitive dissonance, you don't need sperm. You got white privilege, so you don't need sperm. Looking at my homeland, man, I can't believe her. Colonized came here, they ain't never leave her. Indians ain't die off cause we here. You ain't gotta lie, just say you won't be here. How you American but not indigenous? 400 years still ain't get rid of us. All Europeans, naturalized citizens, made all the Indians niggas on the census. 1492, we was on the fences. Civil rights movement, we was so defensive. Black Wall Street, white guys so offended.
Common law rights gave us amendments. Thank God don't speak truth, that's alright. First slave 1619 was alright. 1200 wasn't no continent, alright. Europe named after a black woman, alright. Grafted to come from us, do your research. Go within, quit listening to the teacher. And the new kid got voice coming out the speaker. Cut our trees down and made us weaker. Really they foreign or the shit gets deeper. Whites don't know where whites come from either. I'm Aborigine, we come from the ether. Ruling over us in our land, that's evil. Being colonized right now, black people. Prisoner of the war, that's why it ain't equal. Wake up everybody, don't be no sheep. Freedom ain't free, really freedom is illegal. And we can't get mad at this. Whites act like we can't see their advantages. Privileges real, they ain't working in management. Low down dirty, but they calling us savage. They want you to think they above us. All white people are part-time judges. I ain't no racist, but I ain't no sucker. I ain't no African, but they my brothers. Been lied to, I got built up anger. You built everything, still waiting on the savior. Don't call yourself black, please do me that favor. Black tourmaline will protect you from a hater. Listening to your oppressors is dangerous. Gave us a Bible and stole our nation. Said we couldn't read what we didn't know the language. Stripped us on paper because we didn't see the danger. American Indian, keep the religion. Skin copper color look just like a penny. Wanted our land and you called us stingy. Ain't no Democrats, they together pay attention. We got ancestors but the papers is missing. Kings and queens you can't remember. Remember who you are, just like Simba. Now they got a back, we don't want that in us. George Washington is the ninth president, look it up. United States, only 10 square blocks, look it up. White people really the minorities, look it up. Courtrooms don't got authorities, look it up. You want me to say stop governing me? Gave me a straw man, it's really not me. Why you don't keep it 100 with me? Why Trayvon Killer still walking around free? Made this song for the truth, don't hate it. History was told in reverse, I stated. Reads to the press, somebody gotta say it. I'm taking you out of school, that's the reason I made it. History. It's his story. History, it's his story. History, it's his story. History, it's his story. That ain't my story. History, it's his story. Ain't your story. History, it's his story. It's his story.
All right. All right. We're going to try this one more time. What I may have to do, guys, let's do this. Read and read, but they will be able to hear me. It's called and I'm going to get right to the info because I am once again having an issue with the StreamYard. And it does not want to 8 bots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, actually I'm lying. 5 bots that actually were just, I should have moderated. Let me block them. Hold on a second, guys. Black one, another one coming in. This is absurd. I got to keep them off my feed, though. So give me just a moment to take care of this, guys. And we will get back to it. Moderators, why y'all not blocking these bots? Y'all these bots in here. Just like doing everything they need to be doing somewhere else and not here. Like, for real. Okay, it's trying to kick me out again. Just one moment, guys. If it kicks me out, I can't see the page that I'm reading to you. So you guys got to give me a moment for it to catch up. And we should be set in just a moment. All right, guys. Now let's get to share. What I'm going to do is and hopefully you guys in the chat can hear this a little clearer. So let's get to it. And of course, it is still acting retarded. So give me just a moment. We're about to read the Spirit of Laws. Just waiting for clarity. I know you guys have a lot of patience when it comes to my internet. This is like so absurd. It's just annoying. So give me a moment here. I'm going to have it read audio. I'm getting a bit annoyed right now, guys, so you got to bear with me. All right. Ooh. I don't know if it's the tension or what's going on, but let me light some sage or something around here because things getting a little absurd right now. Hold on. I need something energized around my area. Okay, let's see. Come on, come on, come on. I should have really just played you guys my live from earlier with a bunch of information that I've been going over today. So maybe I'm getting a little tired, and in my frustration, I'm not able to have my patience work with this technology right now. You know, my energy's a bit off and a little tired, so could be that. We'll blame it on that, right? All right.
Deserve to be the contemporaries of so great a man, leaving our vain and frivolous pleasures, we should have biked upon his tomb, and the nation, in mourning, would have displayed to all Europe an example of homage such as an enlightened and appreciative people should render to genius and virtue.
Continue on.
By Dale Lee. The generality of literary men who have mentioned the spirit of laws, having rather endeavored to criticize it than to give a just idea of it, we shall endeavor to supply what they ought to have done, and to explain its plan, its nature, and its objects. Those who may think this analysis too long will, perhaps, be of opinion, after having read it, that there was no other way of making the author's method properly understood. It ought also to be remembered that the history of celebrated writers is little more than that of their thoughts and their works, and that this part of their history is the most essential and most useful. Men in the state of nature, abstracted from all religion, in those disputes which they may have, know no other law than that of all animals. The right of the strongest, the establishment of society ought to be regarded as a kind of treaty against this unjust title, a treaty destined to establish. A sort of balance between the different divisions of the human race, as in the physical, that it is seldom perfect and stable, and the treaties of the humans among our princes perpetual sources of dispute. Interest, necessity, and pleasure made men associate together. The same motives urge them continually to desire the advantages of society without one side, if we may be allowed the expression, embracing each other, and on the other endeavoring the other.
Here we go. Acting stupid again.
Laws are the chains, more or less efficacious, which are destined to suspend or to restrain their blows, but the prodigious extent of the globe which we inhabit, the different nature of the regions of the earth, and of the people who are spread over it, not permit mankind should live.
I guess this can make you guys appreciate my pre-recording.
Under one and the same government, the human race was obliged to divide itself into a number of states, distinguished by those laws to which they are subjected. Under one single government, the human race would have been no more than one enfeebled and languishing over the surface of the earth.
Man, this thing taking this time to auto read. I figured that'd be better. And it seems like it's just taking forever, Lord. This was like horrible, guys. I really apologize. I'm gonna do a giveaway Sunday to make up for all the
The
patience you
different
guys have been
governments are
having.
so many robust and active bodies. By mutually
It's too
assisting
much.
each other, they form one whole, whose reciprocal action maintains and keeps up motion and life everywhere. We may distinguish three sorts of governments: the republican, the monarchical, the despotic. In the republican, the people in a body possess the sovereign power. In the monarchical, one single person governs by fundamental laws. In the despotic, no other law is known than the will of a master, or rather of a tyrant. Not that there are in the universe only these three kinds of government, or that there are states which belong only and strictly to some one of these forms. Or the greatest number of them. The three forms are mixed or blended, the one with the outlier. Here monarchy inclines to despotism, there the monarchical government is combined with the republican, elsewhere it is not the whole people, it is only a part of them, which make the laws. But the preceding division is not on that account the less just and exact. The three kinds of government which it includes are so distinguished that they have properly nothing in common, and yet all the governments which we know participate the one in the other. It was, therefore, necessary to form particular classes of these three kinds, and afterwards to determine the laws which are proper for each. It would be easy afterwards to adapt those laws to any particular government, according as it might belong more or less to one of those different forms. In different states, the laws ought to have relation to their nature, that is to say, to that which constitutes them, and to their principle, or, to that which supports them and puts them in motion, an important distinction, the key of an infinite number of laws, and from which the author draws many consequences. The principal laws in relation to the nature of democracy are, that the people be in some respects the monarch, and in others the subject, that it elect and judge of its magistrates, and that the magistrates on certain occasions pronounce decisions. The nature of monarchy requires that there be between the monarch and the people some body to whom laws are intrusted, and which ought to be a mediator between the subject and the prince. The nature of despotism requires that the tyrant exercise his authority by himself alone, or by one who represents him. As to the principle of the three governments, that of democracy is the love of the commonwealth, that is, of equality. In monarchies, where the single person is the dispenser of distinctions and rewards, and where they are accustomed to confound the state with the single man, the principle is honor, that is, ambition, and the love.
Honor, ambition, and the love.
Lastly, under despotism, it is fear. The more vigorous these principles acts, the more fixed the government.
More than absurd, guys. I'll make this up to you. We're going to go over this again. Since this is not clear, definitely going to go over the entire thing again. We'll be out of here in about 5 minutes. Unfortunately, guys, I will list this information when I redo this particular information, guys. I will list it on main radio, on the webpage, and you'll be able to go and see this information later, guys. So unfortunately, I've been having a few technical issues as usual. You know how this goes around here. So I'm gonna hopefully be able to get this cleared up soon.
Try more these are altered and corrupted. Try more it tends to its destruction. When the author speaks of equality in democracy, he does not mean an axiom, absolute, and consequently chimerical equality.
I said the same thing, Pony Locks. I don't know what's going on. Who all these weird people coming in my life, doing some weird shit. It says I don't even know.
That happy equilibrium which renders all the citizens equally subject to the laws, and equally interested in government. The laws of education ought to be in relation to the principle of that government. We understand here by education that which is received in Answer Book 4 and masters, which is often contrary to it, especially in some states. In monarchies, education ought to have for its object politeness and regal civilities; in despotic states, terror, and the debasing in republics they have occasion for all the power of education. It ought to inspire a sentiment which is noble but hard to beat, namely, that disregard of one's own interest whence arises the love of one's country. The laws which the legislator makes ought to be CONF on to the principle of each without rules of every condition.
Guys, I will definitely be putting the law information on Main Radio Live blog page sometime this week. So I apologize you weren't able to get all this information, but we'll make sure that you guys are getting this on the Main Radio
M. de
site.
Montesquieu ought not to be accused of having the print characters. The very is so odious to a just prince, and still more so to a wise and virtuous citizen.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Sister Soul Main Radio. You're tuning in Sunday. I will have this information up on the site this week. And I apologize for all the interruptions today, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you tune in Sunday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, Sister Soul Main Radio Live. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys, and have a good one. Absurd, 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 absurd. Let me see once I get through with this, guys, if we can get this fixed. I'm not sure what's going on. It won't even let me end the broadcast. Let's see. Hold on.
To point out what is necessary to maintain it is to labor to destroy it. The perfection of this government is its ruin, and an exact system of the laws of tyranny, such as our author describes to us, is at the same time a satire upon, and the most formidable scourge of, tyrants.
All right, guys, let's see what's going on now. God dang, this thing crazy. Let's see if we try it now since the system is down off air. If it gives us a little more leeway here, let's try it because this shit's about to get on my nerves. I said I was going to end it early either way because I am a bit tired.
With respect to other governments, they have each their advantages. The Republican is more appropriate to small, the monarchical to great states. The Republican is more subjected to excesses, the monarchical to abuses. The Republican executes the laws after more mature deliberation, the monarchical with more promptitude. The difference of the
Yeah, today's been a lot
From the
going
most
on,
general
guys.
point of view,
What we're
that is
gonna
to say,
do,
from that which has reference
I'm
only to
definitely
their
gonna
nature
end
and their
this
principle.
in this
Viewed
live,
in this
guys.
light, states can have no
Hold on one
relations,
moment.
but that of defending
I'm gonna have
themselves
to
or
get
of
to this when
attacking.
I'm fresh and ready to ready to be fresh and ready to get into this. I'm a little tired, to be honest, and I should have had my boss do a recording today because I did a lot today, and I came in and tried to make sure I put some information out to you guys today twice. So I'm doing a lot, and my computer is actually acting completely stupid, which is actually annoying me more as usual. So I'm sorry that you guys didn't have the best show, but I'll make sure to get up bright early tomorrow with something very outstanding for you guys. A couple of things I want to go over. So hopefully I'll be, get to that early in the morning. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Peace, love, blessings, and everything. I'm out.